morning, students. Welcome to the online biology classes. Today, we'll start the explanation of chapter number 8, How do organisms reproduce? So, let us move to the first slide. Reproduction. Reproduction is the process by which living organisms produce new individuals of the same species. That means, increase in number of an organism is called as reproduction. Reproduction is very important because in order the organism to survive and to increase the population of a species, reproduction is very important. If organisms do not reproduce, their population decreases and species will become extinct. And after some time, the organism, if it will not reproduce, it will only be of its own kind remaining in this earth, and after completing the lifespan, that organisms will die and ultimately the species will eliminate from this universe. That's why to continue the life from generation to generation, reproduction is very important. Do organisms create carbon copies of themselves? So let us see the DNA, that is deoxyribonucleic acid, which is the hereditary material of an organism. It contains all the hereditary information. Molecules in the chromosome, the DNA molecules in the chromosome in the nucleus is responsible for the transfer of characters from the parents to the offspring. Means it is having all the information which the parent passes on to the offsprings. During reproduction, the reproductive cells produce two copies of the DNA which separate into two cells. The DNA copies will be similar but not identical to each other. So this is only very important. During reproduction, the reproductive cell produce two copies of the DNA. That means at the time of reproduction, DNA will copy itself. That means both the parents, the male organism's DNA will be copying itself with its characteristics, and in the same way female organisms DNA will also copy itself with its characteristics. Okay, so that means DNA is copying itself during reproduction. The DNA copies will be similar but not identical to each other. That means it will be having the similarities, the characteristics will be similar, but they are not identical. They are not exactly the same. So some changes are there while copying it. So this is very important to understand that while DNA is copying itself, it is not an exact copy, but the copy is with some changes. So the new individual have slight variation. Variation means change from their parents. This is the basis for the variation and evolution of new species. So this is the basis for variation, means while the DNA is copying itself, some changes are also being copied. It is not an exact copy but with some changes, and that changes is called as variation. And that variation means that positive change will get accumulate in an organisms from generation to generation, and ultimately it will lead to the evolution of a new species. For example, human beings, we have been evolved from apes, that is monkey like organisms. So the positive change keep on accumulating in an organism, keep on accumulating, and it lead to the present day homo sapiens, that is human beings. Let us move to the next slide. The importance of variation. Why variation, that change is very important. DNA copying during reproduction is important for maintaining the body designs of different organisms to survive in the existing environment. That means consistency in DNA copying. While DNA is copying, there is a consistency. Means there is a set pattern that leads to the development, or that leads to the formation or maintaining the body designs of an organism. Means if a dog is giving birth to the young ones, it will resemble the dog. It will not be that much change. Okay, it start resembling a cat, or it start resembling some other organism. So there is a consistency. Okay, but the environment is constantly changing due to changes in temperature, climate, water levels. Means day by day the environment is changing. Nowadays you might be seeing in televisions, in movies, you might be seeing that the temperature of the earth is slowly and steadily, it is increasing day by day, it is increasing day by day, and we are moving to an era of global warming. So that is a big change in the environment. So we are just talking about such type of changes like temperature, climate, water levels, etc. If organisms cannot adjust themselves to the changes in the environment, then their species will become extinct. Means environment is changing, it is changing, so now we have to adapt ourselves to the changing environment. So what is that? Our parents have been living in such an environment which is somewhat changed from what we are experiencing now. So that means if we have received the DNA with some changes which our parents have experienced, they have experienced lots of environmental changes and all. According to that, because of that, the DNA changed, and their DNA, the changed DNA, will come in us. So now we will receive somewhat changed DNA, and we'll be adapting to this environment. Okay. If there are variations in some individuals of a species, they may be able to survive the changes in the environment. So, if variations are there, variations means positive changes which help an organism to survive in the changing environment, comes in the offspring. So, variation in species is necessary for the survival of different species and for the evolution of new species. Means variation is very important for the survival of an organism. Otherwise, if the DNA will not change itself according to the changing environmental conditions, so the new organism will keep on receiving the old DNA, and that old DNA is meant for surviving in the previous environment. But now we are experiencing the new environment. If DNA will not change, then what will happen? We will not be able to survive in this environment. Okay, so I hope student you are able to understand this. Now we'll be moving to the next slide. Types of reproduction. There are two main types of reproduction in living organisms. You might have seen in the lower classes also, that is asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction. So asexual reproduction is a mode of reproduction in which no two individuals are not involved. It's reproduction in which new individuals are produced from single parent. So two parents are not involved, only single parent will give rise to the new organisms. Sexual reproduction is the reproduction which is accomplished with the involvement of two organisms, that is one male and one female, which give rise to a new individual. Asexual reproduction is of different types. So asexual reproduction is now again of different types. They are fission, budding, regeneration, fragmentation, spore formation, vegetative propagation, etc. Okay, so for a 10th class is concerned, we'll be just talking about only these mode of asexual reproduction, that is fission, budding, regeneration, fragmentation, spore formation, vegetative propagation. Okay, a nice diagrammatic view of all these types of mode of asexual reproduction are given in this slide. You can see the first one is representing the binary fission. You can see bi means two, an organism is being divided into two, that is binary fission. Now on the second one you will be just finding out budding sort of a thing, you will be seeing budding. Then this hydra, you will be finding here a new bud is being formed, that is regeneration. Then planaria, you will be finding planaria, it is mode of reproduction is regeneration. Now fragmentation you will be seeing in Spirogyra. Now the spore formation in fungus, that is Rhizopus. Vegetative propagation in this Bryophyllum leaf. Now let us move to the next slide. Fission. So one by one we'll be just discussing in detail about these modes of asexual reproduction. The first is fission. Fission is an asexual reproduction by which unicellular organism divides and form two or more new individuals. Fission is of two types. They are binary fission and multiple fission. So binary fission means bi means two. So if an organism is divided into two daughter organisms or a parent organism, one single parent is been divided into two, so that becomes binary fission. First the nucleus divide and forms the two nuclei, then the cytoplasm. So first what divides? First nucleus start dividing and then the cytoplasm will divide. Okay, so example is amoeba and paramecium. So it is very important to note, student, that first what start dividing in binary fission? First nucleus start dividing. It is also called as karyon. Nucleus is also called as karyon. So it is sometimes called as karyokinesis. So karyokinesis and cytokinesis. So karyokinesis means nuclear division. Cytoplasmic divide means cytokinesis. So first what will take place? Karyokinesis. Then what will take place? Cytokinesis. Okay. Let us move to the next type of fission, that is multiple fission, which has been seen in Plasmodium, which is a parasite which causes malaria. In this method, one organism is divided into many daughter cells. So if an organism is divided into many daughter cells, it is called as multiple fission. And if the organism is divided into two organisms, then it is called as binary fission. Budding. In this method, a bud-like projection is formed on the body of an organism. Means a small lump sort of a bulge comes out, a bud-like thing is coming out from an parent organism once it becomes mature. The bud that develops into a new individual, or that bud keep on increasing, keep on dividing, and it becomes sufficiently big in size so that it get detached from that parent organism and start developing into a new individual organisms. Example, hydra and yeast. Here also you will be finding that first of all the nucleus will start dividing and then cytoplasm will divide. That will be same. Regeneration. In this method, a part of the body of the organism, if cut or broken, can develop into a new individual. Means in this mode of asexual reproduction, if organisms get broken or accidentally it get cut into small pieces, so whatever part is being cut, a new part is being formed from that very portion from where the organism is being cut. In this diagrammatic view, you can very easily understand. Let us see that diagram. Individual, this planaria you are just seeing in the box like organism, you will be finding this organism. If it is cut into three parts, head region, the middle portion and the tail portion, then you will be finding that head portion, because the trunk and the tail is been missing from the head, so it get developed from that head region. In the middle portion will develop head also and tail also, and the tail portion will develop the trunk and the head region. Here very clearly you can see. Now just adjacent to this box in which the planaria is being drawn, just adjacent to that you will be finding hydra also here. That means in the previous slide, let us come to the previous slide where budding is being shown. You have seen this organism, this hydra, in budding also, and here in regeneration also. That means hydra can reproduce by budding and regeneration. Both mode is being followed by hydra. That is very important part. That is very important thing about this organism. That is hydra. It can reproduce by budding also, and it can reproduce by regeneration also. Regeneration means re means again, and generation means to generate. Regenerate, again it is been generating the lost body part if accidentally it get cut from a parent organism. Fragmentation. In this method, the body of a simple multicellular organism break up into smaller pieces on maturation, and each fragment develops into new individual. Means simple, in this organism, if it is following the fragmentation mode of asexual reproduction, that organism get broken into smaller pieces, and these smaller pieces upon maturation means they will divide and redivide, and it will develop into a new individual. For example, Spirogyra. Fifth mode of asexual reproduction is spore formation. In this method, structures called sporangia produce tiny cells called spores. So in this diagram, you can clearly see that this bulb-like structure is called as the sporangium. Here it is written sporangia. Sporangia means sporangia and sporangium. Sporangium means one. Sporangia means many. Means singular and plural. For singular, we will be using sporangium, and for many, we will be using sporangia. So these sporangia are the fruiting body inside which small spores like structure will be produced once the organism matures. When the spores comes in contact with the moist surface, is developed into new individual. I hope student, this experiment in lower classes you might have done, that bread mold experiment where you have just soaked a piece of bread, kept it in sweet box in some dark place for 2 or 3 days. After 2 or 3 days, when you will take out that sweet box to observe what had happened to that moist bread, you will be finding lots of black cottony mass, black and white with yellowish tint, that is been observed in that bread piece. That is only mucor and rhizopus. That is only mucor and rhizopus, which are the fungus which the bread gets surrounded with that cottony mass. That cottony mass is called as the fungus, which is rhizopus and mucus. So this mode of reproduction is being observed in those cottony mass which is getting that is growing over that bread piece which we have soaked and kept. Okay, students, to the next slide we'll see vegetative propagation. So this vegetative propagation is also very interesting, and that comes under the asexual mode of reproduction, where plants are involved. Plants are involved in this. Vegetative propagation means the plants are involved in such type of asexual mode. Remember student, we are talking about asexual mode of reproduction where only one parent is involved. So asexual reproduction in plants. In plants, we'll be seeing sexual reproduction also in the next, in the coming slides. But here now we are talking about the asexual mode of reproduction in plants. That is vegetative propagation. So vegetative propagation is also called as the asexual reproduction in plants. In this method, new plants are produced from the vegetative parts. Now what are the vegetative parts? Root, stem, leaf, etc. Example from root, dahlia. Sweet potato from stem, potato, ginger from potato, stem, potato and ginger from leaf, bryophyllum and begonia. Plants are produced by vegetative propagation, produce flowers and fruits earlier than those produced from seed. So this is one additional advantage. This is an importance of vegetative propagation, that the plants which are propagated by this method, or when plants increase their number by this vegetative propagation, they start producing the fruits earlier than those which are being grown by seeds. It also helps in propagation of plants which do not produce seeds. So students, the plants which does not produce seeds are also reproduced by this mode of reproduction. For example, like rose does not produce seeds, jasmine and banana, they does not produce seeds, so they are being propagated, or they are being increased their number, or they reproduce by this mode of asexual reproduction. Vegetative propagation can also be done artificially by cutting, layering, grafting, etc. Okay, let us move to the next slide. Sexual reproduction in flowering plants. So students, we are closing this video, this explanation here in this slide only, and we'll be continuing with this sexual reproduction in the flowering plants in the next video, in the next presentation. Thank you students.